Hey folks, Russ Hudson here with Canna Advisor's weekly update for November 3rd, 2021. In New York, the Cannabis Control Board has publicly stated that it is working on an 18-month timeline to build the requisite policies framing the new legal marijuana market. Not that they're open and not that they'll be full-blown operations. The Cannabis Control Board has also proclaimed marijuana gifting to be illegal, stating that there is no gray market in New York State. Also in New York, 203,000 marijuana-related charges will be suppressed from background searches and are in the process of being sealed or expunged, adding to the approximately 198,000 records already sealed as part of the first round of marijuana expungements. The New York Department of Labor has issued guidance making it clear that the prohibition on discrimination on the basis of legal cannabis use applies to all public and private employers in New York State, but so far does not extend to independent contractors and volunteers. The New Jersey Cannabis Trade Association posted on its website that the state's alternative treatment centers have enough cannabis to meet both patient demand and that of a 21 and older market, contradicting the state's Cannabis Commission claims that the supply is not sufficient. Elsewhere in New England, in one of their earliest and most important decisions, Vermont's Cannabis Control Board has decided to prioritize small marijuana growers, defining these priority growers as indoor operations of no larger than 1,000 square feet. In Mississippi, the House and Senate have been working on a bill that would allow marijuana use for terminal and chronic illnesses, with the governor saying he would call a special session of the legislature to address the bill in January. South Dakota lawmakers advanced a draft bill to legalize adult-use marijuana, with the Marijuana Interim Study Committee passing the legislation in a 14-10 vote. It must now go before the executive board before it is formally recommended to be taken up by the full legislature in 2022. South Dakota regulators also released the application form for medical cannabis establishments. Commercial growers in Pennsylvania have a new competitor on the market, as the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture said it has applied for a permit to grow or process cannabis in the 2022 season. The Florida Department of Health is seeking nearly $13 million to more than double the Office of Medical Marijuana Use's staff to 165 employees to handle what it anticipates will be a dramatic surge in state medical marijuana sales in the coming years. Elsewhere in the Sunshine State, an administrative judge has lifted the ban stopping third-party websites from assisting medical cannabis dispensaries with online patient ordering. The lawsuit was filed by Leafly after the Florida Department of Health said theirs and other sites' activities were directly related to the cultivation, processing, and dispensing of cannabis, which health officials believed was a violation of state law until corrected last week. In Michigan, Big Marijuana wants to crack down on caregivers. After extensive lobbying by the Michigan Cannabis Manufacturers Association, the Michigan Cannabis Safety Act cleared the House Regulatory Reform Committee last week and, if passed by the Executive Committee, will radically change how caregivers are allowed to cultivate on behalf of their patients, amplifying ongoing battles between a handful of large cannabis corporations and around 30,000 caregivers in the state. Back in New England, on October 29th, regulators in Rhode Island awarded 5 out of 6 new medical dispensary licenses via a long-anticipated lottery. And finally, in Nevada, the Cannabis Compliance Board has extended the deadline for an additional year until February of 2023 for dispensaries to exercise their licenses to give operators time to wait out local moratoriums and municipal bans that are keeping their businesses in limbo. That's it for this edition of the Canna Advisor's Weekly Update. Thanks for tuning in.